This video is brought to you by ExpressVPN. Science fiction builds upon science fiction. That sentence was written by legendary sci-fi editor Donald Wollheim in his 1971 survey of the genre, The Universe Makers. In context, he was discussing the influence of John W. Campbell, the equally legendary writer and editor of the magazine Analog Science Fiction and Fact. But I think he has an incredibly salient point. As video essayist Kirby Ferguson put it, everything is a remix. True originality isn't the creation of something totally and wholly new, but the combination and retooling of a variety of different elements from a dozen different sources. Take a particular work, zoom out, and you can see an entire history building up and leading to it. Something that I think may possibly be easier to see within a genre like science fiction. Ask someone like my dad, and he'll tell you that all roads inevitably lead back to Star Trek. I think this is a really interesting method through which to view a particular film. It's not the only way, and it's not the most important way, but it's one that I think can lead to a better understanding of genre and the evolution of ideas. And what better film to analyze through that lens than Christopher Nolan's Inception, now 10 years old. Right off the bat, this whole idea of genre evolution is one of the reasons why I think the claims that Inception was some kind of ripoff of Satoshi Kon's Paprika are a little ridiculous and narrow-minded. There's an amount of influence from Paprika, Nolan said this himself. There are similarities, but of course there are. They're wading in the same waters that dozens of other films occupy and building from the same ideas. The story of scientists entering into a subject's dreams, memories, or recorded experiences has been a staple of science fiction for decades. The 1984 film Dreamscape has pretty much the same setup as Paprika. A team of dream therapists use a headset device to enter into their subjects' dreams to help them overcome some debilitating aspect of their subconscious.
There's somebody in my dreams.
Oh yeah? Who?
An awful, ugly monster.
But in the process, things of course go haywire.
Easy now, Alex.
Nightmares and dreams as the primary setting for stories is nothing new. They're all over genre fiction like this. As soon as you mention Dreamscape, you have to mention the other film from 1984 about invaded dreams. Nolan obviously went in a different direction. His is a team of thieves, not therapists or dream warriors. But it's no wonder that he originally envisioned Inception as a horror rather than a heist film.
Wake me up! Wake me up! Wake me up! Wake me up!
If there's a particular subsection of films Nolan drew significant influence from, then I think it's what you could call the false reality films of the 1990s, whose characters all take the proverbial red pill and awaken to the revelation that their world isn't real in the conventional sense.
Hey, tell me the truth. Are we still in a game?
They're stuck inside video games, computer programs, television shows. Whatever they think their life is a lie. From this, I think Nolan built on at least two central ideas.
How many simulated worlds like this are there?
Thousands. But yours is the only one that ever created a simulation within the simulation.
The multi-level simulation within a simulation layout found in so many of these films is a pretty clear precursor to Inception's dream within a dream within a dream narrative structure. And the very core idea of Inception, of implanting an idea into a subject's mind, could easily be seen as an extension of the implanted memories from Dark City and Total Recall. The idea of plugging into a system is found all across science fiction, but Inception, I think, takes a particular cue here from Blade Runner, whose Voight-Kampff machine seems to be the visual influence for the briefcase device used to enter into the dream. The dreams themselves are portrayed as pretty much an extension of the real world itself. There's no woozy or overly fanciful quality to them, but I do think Nolan took a page from The Matrix in the way that he attempted to visualize abstract concepts.
Déjà vu.
Just as deja vu signals a glitch inside the Matrix, secrets are literally hidden inside safes and vaults to be cracked open. The world of the dream is inherently malleable. There's another obvious connection here with The Matrix, but perhaps an even stronger one with Dark City. The way its towering skyscrapers are manipulated and altered is not entirely dissimilar from one of Inception's big standout moments, the Dream City folding in on itself. If you still want to make the argument that it pulls too much from Paprika or even any of these other films, I'm happy to listen, but I just don't see it. The elements Nolan was playing with are ages old, and I think he was able to remix them in a way that was, and still is, exciting. It's when various elements like these are just redone in the same way over and over that they become banal and cliché. Great artists are able to combine and spin the familiar into the novel. And I think one of the ways they do this is by drawing influence from outside the genre in which they're working.
What are you doing here?
Like Dark City and Blade Runner, Inception has to it something of a neo-noir vibe. The character Mal, Nolan has noted, was intended to be the literal manifestation of the femme fatale, the beautiful, seductive woman who ultimately brings disaster to the man she's involved with. While we're on the subject of Cobb and Mal's relationship, Inception has a triple tip of the hat to the husband and wife filmmaking duo Charles and Ray Eames. Their real-life creative partnership could easily be seen as something of an influence on Cobb and Mal's own past partnership. Tom Hardy's character was named for them, and the Eames duo just happened to make a short film in the late 1960s called, you guessed it, Tops.
I know I'll never find another girl like you. Will you marry me?
Yet another potential influence on Cobb and Mal's relationship could be garnered from the underrated James Bond film, On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
There's no hurry, you see. We have all the time in the world.
Arguably the most romantic of all the Bond films, whose final note of tragedy isn't entirely dissimilar from the note of tragedy in Cobb and Mal's own relationship. In a way, Inception is the Bond film Nolan never got to make. It's been widely noted that the ski chase in Mountain Fortress in the third layer of the dream is an homage to Secret Service's Central Ski Resort set piece. But this is only one of a number of visual references found within Inception's action sequences. The jaw-dropping spinning hallway fistfight is a pretty clear extension of the hamster wheel-style sets from 2001: A Space Odyssey and the Fred Astaire musical Royal Wedding. Even the way the film is cut owes a certain debt to Nicholas Roeg, one of Nolan's longtime cinematic idols. Roeg's signature non-linear structure, the way that his films freely jump all over their own timelines on a moment-to-moment basis, is seen all across Nolan's films. Within seconds, a film of his can jump to 5 separate points in the timeline.
Okay, I'm tired.
Tired or drunk?
I wanted to say goodbye.
There's a real simplicity to his cuts as well. They're clean and straight, and because of that, they're often jarring. There aren't any fancy transitions or sounds to signal a time jump. He doesn't even really use match cuts all that often. Something Nolan emulates, especially in Inception's third act when 4 separate dream layers are playing out at the same time. Now, a discussion of genre evolution and how one work leads into the next wouldn't be complete without touching on the creative process and its often mysterious nature. Some of the films I've discussed so far are films that Nolan himself has directly cited as influence, but some of them aren't. An interesting point that emerges here is that genre can build upon genre in both a conscious and unconscious way. A writer may pull from or expand upon works without even knowing it. Here's Nolan talking about Last Year at Marienbad, a film he didn't know Inception was riffing on until the latter was released.
The closing question, as we were talking that night about The Wall, and I'd asked you about Last Year at Marienbad, which is clearly an influence on The Wall, and which you said you had not seen before you screened Inception. But really,
I hadn't. I saw it. I got the Criterion Blu-ray a couple of weeks ago, and I'd never actually seen it. I sat there and I watched it, and I thought it's amazing how much of that film is in Inception.
Absolutely.
But of course, what I realize is it's just an interesting thing about film culture and the way it progresses. Because when you have a film like Last Year at Marienbad that is so key and so instrumental in making people reassess, the way memory works in films or can be portrayed or dreams, I realize that I've seen many things that have been influenced by it, and so I am in turn influenced by it.
To watch Inception, like watching any film, regardless of its genre, is to unconsciously watch a history of cinema stretching behind it. But the note I'll end with is that now, with 10 years since its release, watching it again, you can see how its role in the genre has shifted. The way that it's morphed from something being influenced by what came before to now influencing films that have come since. The early 2010s featured a number of films all with multi-level video game-esque structures. Sucker Punch, Source Code, Edge of Tomorrow.
Come find me when you wake up!
All continuing to build off of the same ideas Inception was constructed from. Ready Player One expands on the visual of characters plugging into a virtual world. And this sequence in Doctor Strange, well, it's pretty easy to see what it's playing off of. Oh, and we can't forget about this. Talk about something becoming cliché. Thanks so much for watching, guys. This video is brought to you by ExpressVPN. So if you're not aware, a VPN, or virtual private network, is almost like a kind of secure tunnel that exists between the internet and your computer or smartphone. Without a VPN, your private information is at risk. It's the equivalent of leaving your mind free and open for Leo DiCaprio to lead a team of dream thieves to steal whatever secrets you may have in your mind. And with more people working from home now, VPNs are more important than ever to make sure that your online activity is safe and secure. Plus, one of the great benefits of ExpressVPN is the unrestricted access that it gives you. Did Inception get taken off of Netflix before you could watch it? Not a problem. With one click of a button, you can reroute your connection to a server in a different country. Bada bing, bada boom, you're back in business. I can't recommend ExpressVPN enough. I've been using their service for a while now. It's fast, it's reliable, and it's incredibly easy to use. If you're interested in signing up and finding out how you can get 3 months for free, you can go to expressvpn.com/royalocean.